As the moon casts an eerie glow over the Rio Grande, a thick fog creeps across the water's surface, obscuring the distant shores. In the mist, a faint silhouette emerges, a woman in white, her spectral form barely visible against the darkness. Across the world, there are many legends of restless spirits, but few stories are as chilling as that of La Llorona, the crying woman. Her tale of sorrow, tragedy, and vengeance haunts the Riversides, with her ghostly wails echoing through the night. Today, we delve into the haunting of the Rio Grande, where her presence is felt most strongly. The origins of La Llorona's tragic tale can be traced back to Mexico, where her story first took root in the collective consciousness of the people. As night falls and shadows lengthen, a solitary figure can be seen walking along a desolate riverbank, her face hidden from view. La Llorona's story began as that of a woman who lost her children to a tragic fate, and now she wanders the rivers at night, eternally searching for them. Her cries are said to be heard wherever there is water, but nowhere is her presence more chilling than by the Rio Grande, which runs through the heart of the American Southwest. The legend speaks of a beautiful woman named Maria, who lived in a small village near a great river. She fell in love with a wealthy nobleman and bore him to children. However, when the man abandoned her for another woman of his own class, Maria was consumed by grief and rage. In a moment of madness, she drowned her own children in the river, only to be overcome with remorse immediately after. Realizing the horror of her actions, she threw herself into the same waters, ending her mortal life, but beginning an eternal search for her lost children. Now, her spirit is said to roam the banks of rivers and streams, her anguished cries piercing the night as she searches in vain for the children she can never reclaim. The Rio Grande, with its long history and deep cultural significance, has become a focal point for sightings and encounters with La Llorona. The river's murky waters and misty banks provide the perfect backdrop for her ghostly appearances, leaving those who witness her forever changed. Many locals along the Rio Grande have reported hearing the anguished cries of La Llorona drifting through the night air. The sound of her weeping is said to be unmistakably haunting, mournful wail that sends chills down the spine of even the most skeptical listener. Some claim to have seen her ghostly figure near the water's edge, looking for her children, while others hear the unmistakable sound of weeping when they are alone by the river. One such account comes from Maria Sanchez, a lifelong resident of a small town near the Rio Grande. I was walking my dog late one night along the river path, she recounts, her voice trembling slightly. Suddenly, I heard the most heart-wrenching cry I've ever heard in my life. It was like a mother mourning her child, but there was something unnatural about it. My dog started whining and pulling at the leash, and that's when I saw her woman in a flowing white dress, standing knee-deep in the water. She was facing away from me, but I could see her shoulders shaking as she sobbed. I blinked, and she was gone. But I'll never forget that sound as long as I live. Similar stories have been shared by fishermen, campers, and even law enforcement officers patrolling the area. Many describe a sudden drop in temperature, an overwhelming sense of sadness, and the distinct feeling of being watched. Some have reported seeing wet footprints leading away from the water's edge, only to have them disappear into thin air. La Llorona's haunting doesn't stop at the Rio Grande. Across America, there are tales of her appearing near haunted riversides, in places like Texas and Arizona. Witnesses claim to have seen her walking along the banks, her figure barely visible through the mist, while others hear her cries in the wind during the quietest hours of the night. In San Antonio, Texas, the famous Riverwalk has been the site of numerous La Llorona sightings, with tourists and locals alike reporting encounters with the ghostly woman in white. In Phoenix, Arizona, the Salt River has its own share of La Llorona legends. Local paranormal investigator Jack Martinez has spent years documenting these occurrences. The thing about La Llorona, he explains, is that her story resonates with so many people. It's a tale of love, loss, and eternal regret. That's why I think her presence is felt so strongly near bodies of water across the Southwest. Water represents both life and death in her story, and it's where she's doomed to search for eternity. The widespread nature of these sightings has led some researchers to speculate that La Llorona may not be a single entity, but rather a manifestation of collective grief and guilt. Others believe that the original La Llorona's spirit has become so powerful that it can appear in multiple locations simultaneously, drawn to places where tragedy has occurred near water. Several paranormal investigators have ventured into these haunted locations, attempting to communicate with La Llorona. Their findings have been chilling, unexplained cold spots, sudden drops in temperature, and mysterious figures caught on camera near the river. Some believe La Llorona is not just a ghost but a spirit trapped in another realm, searching for redemption. One such investigation, led by the Southwest Paranormal Research Team, yielded particularly unsettling results. During an overnight stakeout near a secluded bend of the Rio Grande, the team's equipment recorded a series of unexplained phenomena. Our thermal cameras picked up a cold spot moving along the riverbank. Team leader Sarah Rodriguez reports. It was human-shaped and seemed to be searching for something. Then, our audio recorders captured what sounded like a woman weeping, followed by the words, "Mis hijos, my children in Spanish." None of us heard it at the time, but it was clear as day on the playback. The team also reported equipment malfunctions, batteries draining inexplicably, and a pervasive feeling of sorrow that seemed to affect everyone present. It was like we were all suddenly overcome with this intense sadness, Rodriguez recalls. Like we could feel La Llorona's grief. It was unlike anything we've experienced in our years of paranormal research. These encounters have led to various theories about the nature of La Llorona's haunting. Some parapsychologists suggest that she may be a residual haunting, an imprint of intense emotional energy left on a location. Others believe she is an intelligent spirit, capable of interacting with the living and even following those who have encountered her. Dr. Elena Bascus, folklorist, specializing in Southwestern legends, offers another perspective. The story of La Llorona serves as a cautionary tale. a way for communities to process grief and warn against the dangers of unchecked emotions, she explains. But it's also a reflection of the very real tragedies that have occurred along these rivers throughout history. The Rio Grande, in particular, has been the site of countless drownings and border-crossing fatalities. In a way, La Llorona embodies the collective sorrow of all those lost souls. As night falls once again over the Rio Grande, the mist rolls in, and the sounds of the day fade away. A figure stands near the riverbank, barely visible in the gathering darkness. The air grows heavy with anticipation, and then a sound, a cry so filled with anguish that it chills the blood of all who hear it. Is La Llorona a cursed spirit, or just a story passed down through generations? The haunting of the Rio Grande remains one of the most chilling ghost stories in the American Southwest. Would you dare to walk along the river at midnight, or would you run from her ghostly cries? As we conclude our journey into the legend of La Llorona, one thing remains certain. Her story continues to captivate and terrify in equal measure. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the tale of the crying woman serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring nature of grief and the consequences of our actions. The next time you find yourself near a river at night, listen closely. You might just hear the mournful wails of La Llorona, forever searching for her lost children in the dark waters of America's haunted rivers.